Daisy would like to also, one second, hold on. I'm getting used to the Mac. It's very, very tough.
My screen, let me start.
Daisy would.
Yeah. You're able to see it?
One second. Yeah.
Okay.
You went through the whole book, brother.
So I go to the very beginning. So Jeff has, was that?
You have gone through the whole.
Yes. I've gone through the whole book. Whole book in the sense the first 5 steps are the building up the framework, and the next 5 steps are like doing the practical plan. So that the next 5 steps is what I've not done. I've not done part 2, which is building your master plan. I've done part 1, which is developing an integrated parenting philosophy, framework, and broad strategy. So those are the 3 parts of part 1.
Come again. Come again.
Yeah. So part 1 is developing an integrated parenting philosophy, framework, and broad strategy.
Okay.
Okay. So that's like, it is basically all the groundwork on which the next 5 steps will stand. The next 5 or the next, from step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is just implementing based on what you've studied. So if I look at the first 5 steps, they are like this. So here what he has done is he's put the title and he's put the essence of the idea. What is the core idea that you need to take away from each of the steps? So step 1, develop a church-based, wisdom-based philosophy. So integrating the home, church, and school. The essence of the idea is to develop a philosophy.
This will also
that
include paradigm paper, last 2 paradigm papers, no?
The
School.
CBT. Yeah.
That the last paradigm, second last paradigm paper, church-based church-based education for
Correct.
children and adolescents.
It's exactly that. He's just taken the paradigm paper and put it into steps. In fact, the reading the scholars part of each of these would be parts of the. So you will recognize this. If I, he's basically taken this CBE paradigm paper, and from the paradigm paper, he will just go through the parts. Go back here. Where is it?
I'm wondering how our church people will figure this out. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. So no, we'll have to dumb it down, at least to get what the key ideas is, and that will be like the first pass.
1 minute.
The second pass would be.
Sorry, brother. Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So step 1, to develop a philosophy that integrates the home, church, community, and education development, shaped by well-informed parents. That's like the first step. You get to go to step 2 is develop a church-based, wisdom-based life development framework. So in that framework, the idea is to build a broad strategy through combination of home, public, government, or private schooling, again, according to the phases of development. So 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18. That fits the culture we live in, maximizing the best opportunities into a unified approach, since it's the parents' responsibility to oversee the training of their children, gradually shifting the responsibility to their emerging adults. Step 3 is what's the curriculum framework. So based on develop a curriculum framework that will guide parents at all stages at making schooling choices across the 3 phases of development. recognizing that the schooling form may change with the phase of development. 4, develop a developmental schooling strategy. So home, public, or private. So the idea is to build a broad strategy through some combination of home, public, private schooling, again to the phases of development that fits the culture we live in, maximizing the best opportunities into a unified approach. Da, 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 da. So it's the same idea. And step 5 is to imagine the next step. So secondary school, apprenticeship, and college. So broad strategy for guiding your emerging adults through secondary school, transitioning them into full adulthood. So looking at life apprenticeship, vocational school, private colleges, university, and MOOC. So
What is MOOC? I forgot.
and then MOOC is open, so module oriented open courses, something like that. So small courses that you do for 2-3 months online.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then it has the idea of each of the steps is reading the essence, reading the chart, and then keeping the chart in mind going through the month. So this is like the first chart. So it's like from Hebrew wisdom literature, you have this growth phase that happens from a child to a youth naive to someone who is wise and then wiser. The same idea that Proverb builds in Proverbs chapter 1 to 7, it builds on that. So when you're a child, your primary thing, Hebrew wisdom literature tells us, you need to get the fear of the Lord, train up, discipline, and appropriate proverbs. Then when you're in youth, you gain common sense, shrewd world-wise behavior, clear head and focus. The material you use is Proverbs 1 to 9, chapter 31, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon. Here you need experience. Then in the next space, you have wise, so ability to manage life skillfully, ability to deal wisely with people. That's Proverbs 10 to chapter 22, the first collection of Proverbs. And you need overall skill. And then finally, wiser, the ability to see below the surface to real underlying issues, acquire and assimilate complex counsel, solve complex problems. So again, using Proverbs, you go to need specialized skill. So that's the wisdom literature tells that, hey, these are the 4 stages, of growing from child to youth to wise and wiser. The Kohlberg's moral development levels. So this is from modern science. Same pedagogy, it says, hey, you have level 1, level 2, level 3 from ages 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18. And then you have a transition phase from 17 to 22 that they'll cover later. And then Ward takes Kohlberg's model, and Ted Ward, he does an adaptation, and he talks about level 1, level 2, level 3, what kind of parenting needs to happen in different. So level 1, you have the child is, mostly the motivation for the child is me. It's egocentric. And the response to authority is force. So here is where you will primarily use rewards and punishments as a way to train the child. But then along with rewards and punishments, you also have some element of models and rules. And then you have some element of dialogue. But as you go from level 1 to level 2, your rewards and punishments is reduced. So in level 2, when the child is between 6 to 12, you're using more of models and rules. And you're increasing your dialogue component. And finally, in the third level, when you're talking from 12 to 18, you are predominantly doing dialogue with the child. Your models and rules are reducing slightly, and rewards and punishment is the minimum. So you're going, and the moral determinant is the child is going from self to others to principles, from me outside of me. So from egocentric to sociocentric, and then internalizing principles. And the response to authority is force, respect for model and laws, willingly incorporate principles. So for example, an example would be for Hannah if I have to help her, do something, let's say cross the road, she has to hold my hand. There is no other option. If while crossing the road, she leaves my hand, she will get a whack. So you use rewards and punishments. But between 6 and 12, I will have more of rules that, hey, the rule is to hold my hand, or the rule is to look at the left, look at the right, see that no vehicle is going, and then you cross.
Mm.
So you have more of rule based. And dialogue level 3, by that time the child is to understand why you have to be careful while crossing the road.
Mm.
And the rule, looking at left and right, you can advise, you can you can change it. You live by the principle behind it. So that's Ward's adaptation of Kohlberg. And then from the Jewish Talmud, they look at, hey, as the years of development go by, right? Each year, your capacities of doing different things increases. So I think it's the same idea that we take from Lifen. Lifen also, has the same chart. 5 years for 5 is the year for reading. 10 is for Mishnah, the laws. 13 for bar mitzvah, moral responsibility, abstract reasoning, the wedding, seeking livelihood, attaining full strength, understanding, giving counsel. 60 for becoming an elder. 70 for white hair. Then 80 special strength of old age. 90 being bent under the weight of years, and 10 100 almost dead and passed away from the world. Okay, so the idea is to look at the chart and try to grasp as much as you get, and then you go to read the material.
Okay.
So it slowly builds on. So the first chart is, I think, is this is just for, I don't remember which step it is for. Then you have the next chart that talks about in the ages 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, how you are going from an individual to a family member to a local church member. So 12 to 18, you are actually a local church member. And post 18, you are a world community member. So you are now contributing to the world. And what material you should be using, right? So 0 to 6, life development portfolio, parents are the primary one. Sons and daughters are involved. In the family member, parents, son, daughter, teachers are involved. In 12 to 18, parents, teachers, church leaders are involved. Then what material are you using for life development? This. So for character development in 0 to 6, you're using Proverbs to learn discipline, authority, nurture. For faith development, you're looking at Bible stories. For education and life work development, you're looking at different skills: speaking, listening, reading, writing, and so on. Then it grows to the next level. From 6 to 12, you're looking at Proverbs, basic training. The words, people, home, honesty, models and rules. Faith development, you're using catechism. Elements of biblical worldview, home skill, ministering in the family. From 12 to 18, you're using additional things. So it keeps on adding. 12 to 18 is where you also introduce SEMA. So your map and things like that. And then the wisdom-based curriculum. This is like in each of those phases, 0 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 to 18, you're looking at 3 curriculums. You're looking at character development, faith development, and education and life development. So what material you should be using for character development in the 3 age groups? What you should be using for faith development? So here, in fact, I think first principle starts from age 12. So you start from age 12, the children are involved in first principles. You're already studying those things. So on. Okay, then this is from step 2. Okay, step 2, you go from part 2. Part 2 is now for each child, you're building the plan. So you're putting down 4 generations of family history. What are the strengths and weaknesses? So do you see any repeated patterns? Patterns of divorce, let's say patterns of entrepreneurship, patterns of this. And knowing so just like life, and knowing your history helps you figure out, what are things that are strengths for your family and weaknesses for a family, and how will you address it. So this is like 4-generation family history evaluation. So you're looking at what are the major problems, what are repeated major problems, similar occupations, communication patterns between parents, and so on. What is the highest life value, number of kids in each generation, the age the kids left home, relationship with older and younger generation. And then you're trying to look at all that history so that you can devise what you need to be careful of and how do you work through that.
Okay.
So all of this is part 2. I did not do a lot of part 2. I just studied part 1. So this is my, for part 1, the core principles for each of the steps, core principles, implications, and applications. They are very straightforward. For step 1, which is philosophy of parenting, your parenting involves the integration of the home, church, community, and education development shaped by well-informed parents. And there is a need for an overall framework. So today there is a lot of fragmentation. The home is disconnected from what the church is doing. The church is disconnected from the education development, and the home is disconnected from the education development. The parents have primarily outsourced education to schools and faith development to Sunday schools. And parents are just involved in that way. The idea is for holistic development of the child, you need all three to come together and operate. And this is shaped by well-informed parents. Parents have the prime duty, but they need the church. Your strategy with the church needs to be in line. The strategy with the education needs to be in line. So how are you coping up for the needs for the child? The local church is to be the center of missions, leadership training, counseling and shepherding, Christian education, or any other major ministry enterprise. That's the other paradigm thing, right? So churches are center. So you need to develop. So as church, we need to be developing good strategies for helping parents and helping children. The family is the basic, most core institution of the Christian education process. So implications: the family, church, and school need to partner to fulfill the child's educational need, directed by well-informed parents. The local church needs to develop a framework to establish the parents and children. Parents need to be fully involved in each of their children's development and training. So not outsourcing key responsibilities to educational institutes or Sunday school. And then my application was invest time in learning and building an overall framework for Hannah and Enoch. As church leadership, teach, help, and encourage other parents in this framework. Identify ways that the church can get involved in the development of each child. Step 2, life development framework. Here the core principles are: the life development framework integrates the whole development process by a life development portfolio shaped by parents, added by teachers and mentors in community life, which eventually comes under the control of the emerging adult. So
You
the parents are.
you didn't put the church here. Any reason? Or teachers and mentors?
I didn't put the church here. Yeah, in community life. So that's the church.
Okay. Okay, got it.
That you are just like life is.
I'm losing
and
you.
The goal is the parents start with the plan. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, in between you got cut. Yeah.
Okay. So it begins by parents. Okay. When the child is 0 to 6, parents are doing everything. They are in full control. But the idea is parents are slowly involving the children into their own development. And by the time they are 17 to 22, you hand over this entire portfolio to them. Now they are in full control. But then your transition.
Lost you.
Meantime, you are partnering with the teachers. Hello, can you hear me again?
I lost you in between.
Check.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my network is messed up. Yeah. So the parents are, involving in the right time teachers, church members, leaders, mentors. So by the time you hand over this development plan to the children, when they are between 17 and 22, they have a host of people who are going to help them in their journey and development further. So that's the idea behind this. Okay. So my implications: it is very important to have well thought, well informed framework that can incorporate all inputs in a non-threatening and controlled fashion. As parents and community leaders, we need to learn how to incorporate the framework. Okay, my applications were straightforward, I think. Complete the parenting with the planned steps and incorporate the life development process. Work on our own life and to take inputs from others, parents, leaders, employees, etc. So that's where I think the more the parents understand what life development portfolio is, the more they can customize it and make it for their children. Step 3, what is a curriculum framework? So here, the curriculum across all 3 stages, 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, is categorized under character, faith, and education. So for character, Proverbs, moral core, Proverbs clusters, and wisdom literature. Faith, Bible stories, family ministering, and then theology and culture. So that's FP series. And education, preschool skills, general education with learning styles and abilities, and complex education, exposure to major disciplines, apprenticeships, small businesses, etc.
I lost you.
Integrate.
Lost you again.
Just to integrate with all stakeholders and create a system process. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, can you hear me? I was just reading through my notes. I was not doing anything. I'll share the same with you. And then application is draw a big picture, idea of all the concepts. So map life and parenting, marriage. How do they fit in into the life development portfolio? Step 4, life development learning center. So core principle, Jeb proposes a new Christian education paradigm. The whole ecosystem is complex, flexible, and has many parts. So it is parent-based portfolio assessment system, core knowledge approach, integrated life work system, comprehensive system with adjunct teachers, wisdom-based curriculum framework, integrated resources, parent development strategy, teacher volunteer development system, computerized learning system, and electronic library. So they were doing a lot of things. I don't know what is the present status. Okay. So in my head, so the outcome of the first part, the first 5 steps, is 1 page each for each of the 5 steps. And this page kind of builds the structure of why this is important, how this operates, but what you will do will come in part 2. So in part 2, you will do, you'll develop a master plan. You will assess generational patterns. You'll design a master plan for each son and daughter. And then you initiate plans and family habits. So one of the things that I read from this, right, the core, the core thing wherein you actually build your child is through family meals. So their suggestion is 3 family meals per week. You have 3 meals which are intentionally put together, where you are eating food, but you're also discussing life with the children. And what you're doing is slowly you are incorporating other people within that meal. So youths around you or other family around you. Once a week, you're coming together and you're building this habit over a period of time of having family meals and doing life around that meal. Yeah. So that's where you're discussing, hey, what are the present issues, or these meals are also celebrating milestones. So celebrating milestones like, that your child is able to do a chore. Your child is able to, explain the concepts behind proverbs. Or so these are milestones that you're marking down. And those meals are opportunities for you to celebrate them and to come together and learn together. That was really interesting for me, because that's something that we hardly eat together first. And even when you eat together, you don't know what you're doing. So you're just eating food or watching TV or something like that. But this actually says that the core thing that builds around your family habits that you will build from now, and this is something that you'll pass on as inheritance to your children, is setting this habit up. Step 10 is your thinking advanced. Okay, for older children, or for when your children will become older, you're thinking about how do you integrate apprenticeship or internships or small businesses that your child can get into from an early stage, or what your child is good at. So that's where you're actually doing SEMA for your children. So when the child is between 0 to 6, you as a parent are being observant of what your child likes to do. How much time they spend on things, and you're trying to look at what are God-given unique things in your child, and then based on your family heritage will be the same for both of your children, your background will be the same, but for each child, depending upon their unique abilities, you will have to customize how you will teach them, or how you will help them grow from that one development stage to the other one. So for some children, hands-on is required more. For other children, reading or discussing or dialoguing with them is required more. So that's how you integrate SEMA into your child, even when they are not able to do the assessment. When they are able to do the assessment, when they are, in their teens, late teens or something, that's when you can actually do the formal assessment. But till then, you understand MAP and you're observing what is their subject matter. What are their motivating triggers, and then based on that, you are exposing them to different things.
Okay.
So that's like the material in a gist. Probably we could do one day of part 1, the other day of part 2, and see not to make it too much, but also introduce these topics, so that whenever we do like step 2 of this, or the second year of parenting or something, that's where we can build on top of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stop sharing to save some bandwidth. Tell me, what do you think?
It's awesome stuff, these guys do a fantastic job.
Yep.
Thinking how our people will be able to see all this. The integration of homeschool and the church, which I think is a very critical one. Okay, the school is completely disconnected, no?
Correct. For us, so I think the idea is well-informed parents are noting what what education the school is bringing, and then complementing it with things that you need your child to know. So, for example, for me, it's very clear. I don't like in my head some things that I have made sure.
I lost you.
Things like finance, things like insurance, or what does investment look. Hello, can you hear me?
In between, I lost you. I think your Bluetooth is showing red on the earphone.
Hello. No, that's just connection. My network is bad. I need to get a wired connection up to have good Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So there are things that the school does not teach today.
Yeah.
So finance or health or diet or the exercise or investing or businesses. So those are things that in my head I know that I have to complement anyways, that the school is not bringing. But the school is bringing a lot of things that I cannot bring. Or my choice of home. So presently my choice of schooling is dependent on how much money I have. But then here the idea is, at right times you can introduce homeschooling, or you can introduce other forms of teaching to your child. But the thing is, the parents are the key players. That you need to be, as parents and as church communities, we need to be well informed of what our children require. The landscape of job scenario has tremendously changed from the industrial era to the enlightenment era to now what we are in, the technological era. So uh, as much as parents are informed, and then now being a community, if I'm informed of something, then I would ensure that Amalan and his family know it, Chai and his family know it. So as a church community, we are bringing that information from different areas together, and so that our children are well positioned and our community is well positioned to face the next challenges. I think that's where the church comes in, or the parents. The primary role is the parents are well informed, and if the parents are not well informed, the church ensures that the parents get well informed, because parenting is like key part of what we are doing as family. And this is exactly the extension of, so when youths come to your community, how you deal with them is what you're doing exactly with your children. So as for your children, you have a life development portfolio which helps you to identify what are the gaps and fill those gaps in. You're doing the same for the youths that come in. You're doing the same for people who are stuck in their lives. People are stuck in careers that they don't want to, and they are not able to earn a sustainable living or something like that. And our shepherding involves the exact same idea of adding the right skills to them through the community life that we have, correcting those issues in light of what Christ has done, and putting everything together. So that's the church as centerpiece, right? The church as family of families, and building on top of that an entire portfolio for your parenting, for your discipleship to other people, and then also solving issues within the church.
Yes.
This requires, and again, like you said, I don't think anyone is doing this, or anyone is at least even talking about these ideas. So for us, it will be like one of those first things that we start, at least as a community, exploring what does this look like and what we want to build up. Because somehow in the church, children are the most neglected people. So they are like noise makers, or people you want to get rid of them so that you can do the main stuff. And this kind of changes everything in it. They said like, hey, parenting is so key, and parents have such a big role that we have to build everything together.
Yep. So why don't you handle the whole day, brother? The continuity will go otherwise.
Sure, but we will do those discussions within us first. No?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Or so even with that, I'm just thinking if we have at least table mentors who are able to, because even hearing these ideas for the first time there will not be enough to continue discussions on the table.
Okay.
I'm thinking, so if next Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday, if we just come together and spend some time, hey, let's
Okay.
do each of these steps and do our thinking through, then we can what we do for ALDP, present the topic, phrase the questions, let them discuss and do their writing.
Okay.
Then we present the second topic, let them do discussions, do their writing, and so on. We'll go to the 5 steps through that.
Okay.
So the next one can be groups, right? You can still sit in churches and you can do it.
Yeah.
But on day 3, it would be each couple, just every couple sitting separately, and each couple building that plan for their child. Because I think it will get a little personal on day 3, where you do your family history, right? So the man's side family history, the woman's side family history, and seeing at what are the repeated patterns. Probably people may not be comfortable sharing with others. So the couple can sit together and they can do that part. But the day 2 can be church-wise. You can just like how we do, right? Church-wise, people can sit through, and we can have these questions, or whatever group size we can put together.
Okay. All right. I will also meanwhile go through the content.
Yep.
My MA.
I will send that audiobook. It is so crazy. Google has taken the material, and it's like a woman and a man are talking to each other. They're doing a podcast and they're explaining what the book is about.
Okay.
It's super interesting. 45 minutes, but then it goes through. It has missed a couple of these steps, but still it gives you a very good gist of what the book is about.
You can't ask it to correct it, that steps, huh?
I'll have to see how to do it. I think we can do something.
Gemini, huh?
No, this is Google LLM. Apart from Gemini, they have another coding based model. You can open a notebook, you can add material, and then you can chat with it, ask it to generate some podcasts and so on.
Okay.
You're so tired. I can see your eyes closing.
Yeah, I'm very tired. Heavy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's stop for today. We will try to meet on Thursday evening.